There's a pretty one, Ulysses. There it is.
Hello BookTube, I'm Sean the Book Maniac. Welcome back to my channel. Here I am with my November TBR. I seem to be doing these fairly regularly now, monthly TBRs. This includes nonfiction November. I'm not that hep on nonfiction at this moment, but I am going to do a couple, maybe 3. So let's get started. The first nonfiction book I'm going to tackle in November is The Pankhursts, The History of One Radical Family by Martin Pugh. This was the family that gave Britain and the world so many fabulous suffragettes. And I didn't know anything about the Pankhursts until I read the novel Old Baggage by Lisa Evans, which wasn't a very good novel, but one of them, I think the matriarch of the family, I have no idea now who that was, died at the end of the 1920s, and the characters in this novel, Old Baggage, were going to her funeral, and it made me go down a Google rabbit hole about the Pankhursts, and what an incredibly fascinating family. Some of the women in the family went very right-wing, fascist. A few of them abandoned the feminist fight during the World War I to be patriotic. That was a huge mistake. History will not be kind to that decision, but anyway, it's a colorful, very important family, and I will be buddy reading this mammoth family biography with Britta Bowler. But without a doubt, the nonfiction title that I am the most excited about is this biography, The People's Princess by S.W. Jackman. Who is that? That is Queen Elizabeth's great-grandmother. Queen Mary's mother. She was known as very not politically correct these days, but as a fat person, I'm quite comfortable to tell you that she was known lovingly as Fat Mary, but also as the People's Princess. She had that fond title long before Lady Diana was on the scene, and she was a minor royal who was apparently, from all reports, extremely jovial, charity-minded, and perpetually poor, always begging Queen Victoria for an increase in her royal allowance because she made a poor choice in husbands and they just never had any money. And Queen Mary, her daughter, led such a staid life in compensation for the excesses and over-dramatic personality of her mother. So I cannot wait to read this. This is a buddy read with Leah. The biography is not new, and it was written by a Canadian. I'm going to be telling you all kinds of anecdotes about Princess Mary next month. So that may be it for nonfiction. That's more than enough. Very interesting books, but there aren't very many. Nonfiction is usually not my bag, but I choose wisely. So that's what I've chosen. Bunch of fiction buddy reads coming up in November that I'm excited about. One is the BookTube Prize winner, A Ladder to the Sky by John Boyne. This is my debut buddy read with Greg of Supposedly Fun, and we're both really looking forward to reading this that everybody else on BookTube has read except us. And I have a kind of love-hate relationship with John Boyne. I loved his last adult novel, The Heart's Invisible Furies, and I absolutely loathed The Absolutist. It's one of the worst books I've ever read, so I'm hoping this one does not disappoint. Doing quite a few current reads, new release type of books this next month. Deborah Levy's The Man Who Saw Everything, which was long-listed for the Booker Prize, and not shortlisted, so that means it's probably, the best book of the whole lot, and it's on some other prize, Costa or, I don't know, Oliver Goldsmith Prize or something, and I loved her last novel, Hot Milk. This will be my debut buddy read with Juan of Bookish Islander. Some of you might remember the funny story about a buddy read that I did with Ange of Beyond the Pages and Heidi of My Reading Life last year, and it was of a novel from the first half of the 20th century. The Brontes Went to Woolworths by Rachel Ferguson. I have a full review of that. It was an awesome book, and the funny story is that it's totally understandable why it happened, but it's still fun to tease Heidi. She got the wrong book from the library. She got the book by Barbara Commons, published around the same era. Our Spoons came from Woolworths. Not the Brontes went to Woolworths, but Our Spoons came from Woolworths. So because of that mix up, the three of us agreed that we would buddy read the Barbara Commons novel at some point. So that's happening this November. Our Spoons Came from Woolworths by Barbara Commons. Ange is not sure if she can join in, but certainly the buddy read will be between Heidi of My Reading Life and Cousin of Always Doing and myself, and hopefully Ange. Right out of the gate, at the beginning of November, I will be doing another buddy read with Lukash of Totally Pretentious. Last year, we read the novella by Danilo Kish. I didn't think to bring the book to show, so here's the gift. A Tomb for Boris Davidovich. And we both really enjoyed that. It was our first by him. Danilo Kish was a Serbian writer who died in 1989. Because of how fantastic we thought that book was, we will be buddy reading our second book by Kish called Psalm 44. It's one of his early novels written when he was only 25. It's about political prisoners, I think, and the abominable Dr. Mengele makes an appearance in the novella. Speaking of Ange from Beyond the Pages, she and I will be starting our buddy read of Balzac's Cousin Bet. We've decided to divide it up over 2 months, so we will be reading the first half in November. And my Gone with the Book selection for late November is Begin Again by Ursula Orange. I featured this on the video where I did a deep dive comparing the page 112 tag to the Try a Chapter tag and featured this book extensively, and because of that process decided I definitely want to read this, so this will be a buddy read between Leah from Canada and myself as well. And if I haven't missed anything, the last buddy read that I'm committed to is a short story collection by Anita Desai called Diamond Dust. I have never read anything by Anita Desai. I've had some of her books on my shelf temporarily. I think I might have one now. So this will be my first anything by Anita Desai, the Indian, I believe she's Indian American writer. She lives in America now, so I guess we can call her an Indian American writer. I had no idea she was 82. Oh, Anita Desai, that's the mother. Yes. I'm always confused because her daughter is also a writer. So no, I've never had any of her books even on my shelf before. Who is her daughter? Kiran Desai. I have one of her books on my shelf, and I have not read it. Sorry, yeah, Anita Desai is the mother. She's 82, and Kiran Desai is her daughter. So looking forward to that. That's a buddy read with Joe Smith. Joe Smith and I have read a couple collections of short stories recently, and short story collections are fabulous for buddy reads because you can just set whatever pace you want, and you can check in once a week or twice a month. Doesn't matter because you're just reading one story. So those are the buddy reads. I think that's enough. We overdid it. I might have to bail on somebody just to catch my breath. Apologies in advance. And if I can fit any more in, I have a couple alternate or additional nonfiction that I'm dying to read at some point and may try to fit in November. One is another Barbara Pym biography. Barbara Pym, A Passionate Life by Anne Alistry. I just hauled this the other day, and it's a short little biography. Also for nonfiction, this is a collection of, what are they, essays? It's kind of a hybrid memoir and literary criticism by Edmund White. The Unpunished Vice, A Life of Reading. I'm not a big Edmund White fan, fiction-wise, but Eric spoke very highly of this memoir, so I bought it because of that, and maybe I'll try to get to it next month. If not, sometime. And another fairly new release that I'm dying to get to, so if everything goes tickety-boo, otherwise I may try to squeeze in next month, is Rowan Hiseo Buchanan's second novel, Starling Days. I was so impressed with her debut, Harmless Like You. So that's what's on my plate for November. Thanks for watching.